Hey everyone, it's me Lone here with a Fallout 3 video, and the reason why I'm covering this game now is because recently I modded it for a new playthrough, and I just want to talk about my experiences modding this game in 2021 to potentially help some of you out there if you are thinking about getting back into Fallout 3 and also modding it too. So if you enjoy this video, please like it, I would really appreciate it. Subscribe if you're new, with notifications if that's possible. But with all that out of the way, let's get to the content. Alrighty, we're in the game, and as you can see, this is my modded version of Fallout 3. Now what I will do is overlay the vanilla version just so you can see some of the drastic differences that these mods can make to your game in 2021. Now I'm not going to be talking about the mods that I have now. I can make a separate video about that if you're interested, so let me know in the comments below. But as I said, I just want to talk about my general experiences to help you decide whether it's worthwhile, because there are some issues that come along with modding any Fallout or Elder Scrolls game, but specifically Fallout 3 as well, and I'll get to that later in the video. But let me start off by saying that I genuinely believe modding Fallout 3 is easier than it's ever been, and I don't say that lightly either. The game came out in 2008, right? So there's been, since then, a bunch of helpful tutorials and guides and videos and resources posted on the internet that are really going to help you get started modding Fallout 3, and also helping you troubleshoot issues that you encounter. And you are going to encounter issues when it comes to modding this game, you know, because of your load order or incompatibility between different mods, a bunch of stuff like that. Those tutorials out there and those guides out there are really going to help you out. And I'm not even, you know, completely new to modding. I have some experience, but every now and again, I'm finding myself having to search for issues and to try and resolve them. Even with this save file, I only have 30 mods installed, which is not a lot at all, but I still had some issues with certain mods. So yes, the resources out there are better than they've ever been when it comes to Fallout 3. But also as well, the version of Fallout 3 that I'm running right now is the GOG version. And I mention this because, as you know, Fallout 3 has some issues running on newer operating systems like Windows 7, Windows 8, and Windows 10. And if you run the Steam version of this game, you are actually going to have to incorporate a lot of those fixes yourself, because if you don't, there's going to be crashing issues, some things that just won't work properly, a bunch of stuff you're going to have to resolve in that regard, changing any files, using the large address enabler, a bunch of that stuff associated with the Steam version. However, if you use the GOG version, all of those fixes are pre-packaged in the file itself, which means you can literally, even on Windows 10, just boot the game up and it's going to work. Hopefully, for most of you out there, that should happen with the GOG version. So I downloaded this version just to avoid a lot of those headaches, and I suggest that all of you out there do that if you can. If you don't want to do that because you don't want to buy the game again, then for sure use the Steam version and just incorporate those fixes yourself. But as I said, the GOG version just makes things a lot easier. But also 3, and I got to give a huge props to Nexus Mods out there, because their newest mod manager, Vortex, has made the process of modding this game for me so much easier. It's a freaking amazing mod manager. And I've used Nexus Mod Manager in the past. I've used Fallout Mod Manager in the past, all of them, right? And I just find Vortex to be so helpful. Its UI is really clean. It's easy to understand. It has incorporated a lot of useful tips and tricks to help you avoid issues, you know, in advance, or just get the game running properly, like, you know, avoiding conflicts, ensuring archive and validation is enabled, a bunch of stuff like that. Vortex just makes it so much easier, the process of modding this game so much easier. So if you are completely new to modding, make sure that you use Vortex. If you like Fallout Mod Manager or any other mod manager, you can use that, of course, but I just find Vortex to be really easy in that regard. So, with that out of the way, let's talk about some of the positives modding Fallout 3. And I think the first one that I want to talk about is how beautiful does this game look. To me, I really like the effect and the look that mods can make to your game. And I'm not saying that Fallout 3 looks bad or anything. Don't get me wrong, I freaking love this game. It is my favorite of all time. And it has a certain look about it and a feel about it. I'll cover that later in the video too. But I can't deny that since 2008, gaming has changed, things have evolved. So, just getting some of these mods installed just make the game look a little bit more modern and a little bit cleaner. And it's not going to make it look like a game released from this year. It was still released in 2008, right? But all these texture mods and graphics mods and lighting mods and water mods and everything like that, for me, just gives the game a completely different look and feel. that just makes me reinvigorated to explore it once again. I really love the effect that these mods can give and the end result that they give. So for sure, I think that is a big positive. But also, secondly, as I said, there are some issues that come along with running this game on newer operating systems, and there's a bunch of mods out there that help you resolve those. So whether it's stability, whether it's the Fallout tick fix, it used to be called stutter remover, but the tick fix ensures that the stutter is removed from the game, which is amazing. The Fallout unofficial patch, a bunch of those mods are just going to help your game run much better and be more stable. So for sure, just for that reason in and of itself, you should be installing those mods. Even if you don't want to install any gameplay affecting mods or graphics mods, for instance, you should at least have those stability mods in there because they can let you run vanilla Fallout 3 way better. Absolutely. So that's the second big positive that I would say. But the third big positive is that there's so many convenience mods out there that to me make the game even more of a joy to play. And one of the big ones that I want to show you right now is Immersive HUD. So this is one that was made by Gopher, I believe, where if I don't have any HUD elements on the screen right now because I just want to explore. I just want to look at the vistas and the environment and all that kind of stuff. But if I pull out my weapon, now you can see I've got my HP meter there. I've got my AP meter there. I've got my compass. So now I'm ready for battle to kill this freaking Brahmin, right? Because it's mad. Immersive HUD and other convenience mods like this just make the game way funner to play and is a bit more convenient to play. Even mods like the sprint mod or just making your character run a little bit faster, for me that just makes it much more enjoyable to get around the wasteland. As you can see, I'm running at about 150% and I have a mod enabled to do that. And there's a bunch of other mods as well. Adjustable HUD too. Adjustable HUD, for instance, I could move if I wanted to all these HUD elements to the corner, right to the corner. There are HUD mods like Darn's UI, which make all the HUD elements smaller, especially for you on PC. And there's a mod called MTUI, which just reduces the HUD elements when it comes to dialogue and conversations. So there's so many convenience mods that you can't not consider those to be a positive as well. So for sure, I would say those are three big positives that, should push anyone to modding their game in 2021. But there are some negatives. I'm not going to just say it's all positive. And I think one of the biggest negatives when it comes to modding is that not all mods are lore friendly. And I want to mention Fallout here. So what Fallout does is remove the green tint from Fallout 3. And not everyone likes removing that tint because some people think, as I said, that Fallout 3 has a particular look and feel about it. And don't get me wrong, I fucking love it too. Like that, the sunsets that you get and the vistas that you get in the vanilla game of Fallout 3 are just beautiful. It's nostalgic. It's a reason why I come back to the vanilla version of Fallout 3 time and time again as well. And just for that reason, some people don't like some of those graphics mods. So I can understand why you might think some of these mods aren't lore friendly, but I will say to counter that too, once you've played this game like 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, whatever it is, sometimes it's nice to have a change of pace. So even if it's a gameplay affecting mod that isn't lore friendly, or a mod that changes the enemies in the game to have enemies that weren't included in the vanilla version of Fallout 3, even some of those stuff, even if they're not lore friendly, they just mix things up a little bit. And I think they're good for that in that regard as well. But I can understand the reason why people don't want to mod their game, just because they want a completely pure vanilla version and playthrough of it. So for sure, I understand that. The second reason is, I've highlighted this before, it can be a huge fucking headache, okay? Modding your game can give you so many bloody issues. And it can be mods breaking your game, breaking your save file, just not working together. Like there's so many compatibility issues that you can get between different mods. There are actually mods created to avoid compatibility issues between other mods. And it doesn't matter what you do, as you start to mod your game more and more and more, you're going to encounter issues. I'm sorry, but it's going to happen. And that is a big reason against modding. There is a simplicity in the sense that you can just play your game vanilla and there's not going to be any issues, particularly if you're on console. I do see the side of that. I do see that kind of the simplicity in just not having any mods at all and knowing that your game isn't going to have any mod incompatibility issues that are going to crash your game or fuck up your save file. Because that's something that you need to realize as well. If you keep modding your game, Eventually, if you start to remove some mods and whatever, your save files can actually become really unstable and eventually break. So you need to be careful in that regard. What people suggest is figuring out what mods that you want from the get-go and not changing that at all, because if you keep fucking with it, eventually your game might just break completely. So that is a huge negative that you need to kind of take on if you do want to mod this game, and there's no getting around it. And the third reason I'll say is that you can get carried away with modding. I've talked about this a few times in the past, where sometimes when it comes to modding any Fallout game or any Elder Scrolls game, you get too carried away with it and you end up spending more time modding the game than actually playing it. And I think if that's the case, if you are spending more time modding Fallout 3 than playing the game, I think that's an issue. Like, you're meant to be playing the game and enjoying it. And I know some people like the process of modding, and I enjoy seeing what works together, trying out new mods and stuff. And there is a thrill about that. There is a certain enjoyment about that. But for me, and I think for a lot of people out there, they just want to play the fucking game. They just want to play the game and enjoy it and not be constantly in menus and in any files and on Nexus, just downloading and trying mods. You can get carried away with it. And if you're spending more time modding than playing, I think that becomes an issue. And I think that can be a negative. But to be honest, that's also something that you should be managing yourself. So I think that pretty much covers it. But I still say at the end of the day, it is worthwhile modding Fallout 3. You can get so many cool things. For me, what I like to do is just mod the graphics and the visuals, and the gameplay for me is completely vanilla. So these are all the same enemies, they're the same difficulty, they're the same quest lines and everything like that. I might have a mod quest line every now and again just to try it out and see what it's like. But I'm one of those players that just likes to enjoy the base vanilla game as much as I can. But if I can make it look a little bit prettier and make it run a little bit better with performance and stability mods, then I'll do just that. So that's all I want to say about modding Fallout 3 in 2021. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, but let's get to the conclusion. Alrighty, Raysanders, that is all from me. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and until next time, this has been the Lone Vault Wanderer. Please take care of yourselves, and would you kindly keep fighting the good fight.